guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the intro. We got a ring light, we got some drapes. We're actually doing this. Okay, so for today, we are going to start a new video series since this is a new thing. One new video series to kickstart everything. We're gonna make a series called The Scatterbrained Student's Guide to Saving Money. Yeah, it's a bit as weird as I thought. It's going to be stuff that I've learned, I'm going to share as a scatterbrained student. I don't have my things in one place. As you can see from this setup, I am not an organized person. I find it hard to be organized. So this is just some general guiding principles that I found to be helpful as a person who has a very, very, very hard time organizing. So with that being said, let's start. So before I start this entire video and all the things that I'm gonna say, disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. I am a child. I'm 19. I told you guys, I'm not an adult yet. Well, kind of. I'm a teenager. Above legal age, but still a teenager. It's in that weird position that I'm kind of an adult, but I'm not quite an adult. So meaning that, take my advice with a grain of salt. This isn't applicable for everyone. This is just what's applicable to me, as of now, in this moment, in the situation that I'm in. Which is probably not the situation that you're in. So, take my words with a very big grain of salt. Like a 1 kilogram size grain of salt. The first part of this video is going to be about knowing thyself. I think it's a Buddhist proverb. But either way, these are some things that you need to consider before you embark on your financial journey or whatever journey you guys are on. It's just something that you need to consider, something that you need to reflect on before you look outward. You must look inward before you look outward. Okay, so for the first one, we need to understand our priorities. In short, what's the bigger picture here, people? Do you have dependents? Do you have a family that depends on you? Do you have siblings that depend on you? Do you have parents that are dependent on you? What are your priorities? Anong gusto mong unahin sa buhay mo? Gusto mo bang unahin pasayahin yung sarili mo o ibang tao? Advice sarili mo. Kasi kung hindi mo ka magpapasaya ng sarili mo, sino magpapasaya sa'yo? Ha? Ano? Asa ka sa iba? Tapos hindi ka makakaasa sa sarili mo? So you just need to know what the bigger picture is. Just know. You don't have to think about it too deeply. You just have to be familiar, be aware, be able to evaluate how you want to use your time. You only have 24 hours in a day, people. You gotta know how you want to spend it. You need to plot it out. Not necessarily like plot it out na 7 to 8 ganito, 9 to 10 ganito. Not necessarily. You just want to allot a rough estimate so you don't want to be too hard on yourself. I'm not perfect in this regard. I say this, but I find it very hard to do. I try my best to do it. I have intent. That's what counts as the first step. Having intent. But then, if you want to move forward, you need to try. You need to understand. You need to look inward, outward. Look at the big picture. You don't have to get down to the nitty-gritty yet. Look at the general big picture. For the second one, you need to know understand your spending habits, people. Ang dami kong kaibigan dyan na huy. Papa Food Panda, Papa Grab spending habits nyo. Huy! Dadalhin mo ba yun sa pagtanda mo? I sound so lola doing that lecture. Ew. Anyways. This one just involves contextualizing. So you need to contextualize where this habit comes from. Kasi our spending habits, they're habits. They're something that we either develop ourselves or this is something that other people has taught us. At our age, at my age at least, as a teenager, most of my spending habits, they come from things that my parents taught me. My parents taught me some decent spending habits, so I have decent spending habits. What about other kids whose parents don't have decent spending habits? That forms a bigger barrier, having a better relationship with money with you as a child. So it's something that you need to evaluate. It's something you need to recognize. So you need to watch for it. Like us Filipinos, we have different spending habits. which are sometimes very contrasting. This is gonna be a whole nother video because there's so many money habits, so many problems, mindset. See here and us as Filipinos that affect generations and generations and generations. It kind of suck. I kind of want to talk about it. So that's something again for next time. But anyways, know and recognize your spending habits. That's all that there is to everything. So for the third one, we are going to reflect. Self-control, people. Self-discipline. We need to know when to stop ourselves and when to let ourselves do things. You need to know when to hold on and when to let go. Diba nga, kung mahal, kailangan alam mo kailan mo papalayasin. Char. Hindi papalayasin, pero kung kailan mo kailangan i-let go. There's better things in life, you know. It's not just about the ones that are here. It's about the ones that we can also learn from letting go. Ganon. Char. Okay, so the next one is something that I feel is really important to talk about is recognizing your skills and talents and developing them. Alam ko, nanonood kayo ng mga video about personal finance, nanonood kayo ng video about side hustles, sawa na kayo sa phrase na to. Kasi, ang beses nyo nang narinig, ang beses nyo na rin maririnig to if you continue watching this stream of videos. But, look, in this day and age, almost any skill is marketable. Don't tell them, oh, only develop your marketable skills. All your skills are probably marketable. You just need to find the right niche and market. People, we live in a life where there are things that we call like Fiverr, OnlyFans. If you're into that, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. I'm assuming we're all old in this channel. At least old enough to understand what OnlyFans is and when to not do it. Yeah. We all have talents and we should continue to develop them. Not just for marketability. We're also doing it for ourselves, okay? You have a passion for drawing, go, keep drawing, keep developing it, and then you need to decide what to do with it. If you want to monetize it, make a side hustle out of it, great! Get extra cash flow, extra money. If your time management allots for it, kasi we're all busy here, but if you have the time to make your passion a side hustle, and you want to do it, go ahead, monetize it. That's great. If you don't want to monetize it, that's also great. Something I feel like isn't talked about enough. If you don't want to monetize your talents, that is perfectly okay. Even if you're aiming for financial independence, not everything has to be about money. You can just keep on developing and developing and developing your talents, and you can keep on developing your skills and your passions, not just to serve as something to give you money, but as something to keep you sane. We live in a day and age where mental health is very important. I mean, mental health has always been important, but more important now that we're in a pandemic. Even though people say that there's like, oh,
It's over, you can go out, your mask,
we're still in a pandemic. If something happens again and we have to go on lockdown again, you might go insane if you have nothing to do. All I just gotta say is that to everyone that has talents that people believe that, oh, you should monetize it, you should sell it. I just want to make it a point that I do follow hustle culture, but I do recognize it's not for everyone. Hustle culture is not for everyone, guys. You should not have to follow it just because you see a ton of videos. It's like, oh, you can monetize this skill. Oh, you can monetize this skill. It's not necessary. You don't have to keep on pushing to monetize your talents just because you can. As they said, just because you can doesn't mean you should, okay? You are not obligated to monetize your talents, not at all. You can just develop it for development's sake because that's self-development. That's not necessarily something that you're obligated to share or even just show other people. You can keep your talents to yourself and just keep on developing it. That's fine. If one day you want to share it, go ahead. If you don't want to share it, that's completely fine as well, okay? That's something we want to keep in our minds because we want to keep ourselves healthy, We want to keep ourselves sane. If sharing your talents might drive you insane, then don't do it. You're just doing it for your own self-destruction. Don't! So, for this last point, this video, I'm gonna have more, like the next one's gonna be more on actual advice per se. This is just more like pre-gaming and like self-development prior to the main one. Anyways, last one, spend money on your well-being. Look, this is a video and a series. It's gonna be about saving money, but come on, we're not here to just hoard money. We can hoard money, but if you just hoard and hoard and hoard and hoard, what are you gonna do with that? You're gonna reach 80 years old and you're gonna be like,
Oh, I'm just gonna continue to hoard money because that's what I want to do.
you gotta enjoy it, people. You saved up that amount of money. Spend it. It's yours. You don't owe it to anyone. Because like, what we want to foster here is a healthy relationship with money. You want to build a relationship with money that you're not afraid to spend it if you have to, or you're not afraid to spend it if you know that you deserve it. Building a healthy relationship means that it's good exchange. Like, you spend your time and effort to earn this money. You should set aside part of that money for yourself. Whether self-care for you means buying a new phone, or buying something from Amazon, or maybe just, I don't know, getting your nails done or your hair's done. That's completely fine. But just as a rule of thumb, I like to stick with like a 10% rule. Just to make sure I don't get too carried away, because once I start self-care goes on. Like, it goes on. Self-care for me, eating is just a bunch of fast food, just not giving a damn about my diet. And that's just what it is for me. But it's important to keep in mind that you shouldn't just always go, this is all self-care, this is all self-care, this is all self-care. We all have a baseline of happiness. So if you just do things that are continually self-care, you tend to raise that baseline. So what happens if you go back to normal, after you've raised that baseline? You can't reach it anymore. You're always below baseline. Even if this was your prior baseline, this is your baseline after all that self-care. That's a bit of a difference, isn't it? You fit my whole face in it. It's pretty big. So you should at least take note that your baseline of happiness should just be there. It's a baseline. Get some self-care, get some dopamine rushes if you need a little push to continue the hustle and bustle of life. Like I said, when it comes to alcohol, everything should come in moderation. Everything should come in moderation, not just because you get a beer, you should down it. Again, just because you can doesn't mean you should, okay? So just to end this video, I just want to end it on a bit of a happier note that this is something that I'm just sharing because that's what I've learned so far in my short time in this world. And I think that this is a conversation that's really fun to have. I think it's a great thing to have it talked about and now on media because I don't think it's something that's talked about in the household. So I thought that this would have been a better avenue to bring this conversation out. So if you liked anything that I said or want to start a discussion down in the comments, go ahead, like the video, comment down below. Maybe share it to someone who wants to have this conversation as well and maybe have it going on. I'd love to hear more. Anyways, that's it for today, guys. We're gonna have more on this. It's just gonna take me a while to get things together because, as I said, I'm not an organized person, but I am trying my best. We're gonna push through this, we're gonna keep going, and we're actually gonna make the series something kind of fun. It's just the start. And I hope you guys stick around for the next one because I think the next one's gonna be a lot better when it comes to people who actually want concrete advice. This is just more pre-financial advice. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time. Bye!